What's up guys, and welcome back to another video. Today is a POV from Shoreditch in London. I'm going to take the Canon R6 Mark II and put it through its paces. All the images I will do a before and after, so you'll be able to see how I edit them, so you'll also be able to see how they come out camera. And as always, I'll be talking you through the images, why I'm taking them, and the thought process behind them. So without further ado, let's get to it. As promised, we are straight into the action, and with the Canon R6 Mark II, I've had this thing about 2 months now, absolutely loving it, really good for video and photos. It's kind of perfect for what I'm doing at the moment. Not got the greatest sensor in the world, so when the R6 II comes out, I will probably pick that up because that will have a stacked sensor. It'll be absolutely mega for photos. Street photography wise, absolutely fine, but for work wise, I probably need one with a slightly better sensor just for what I want to do going forward. I like that image with the eye contact. Eye contact always is a really good way to sort of draw the subject, makes the photo much more interesting. As promised, I will go through what I'm trying to do here. As you can see with this one, sort of like getting the guys working and serving, which is a lot of the theme with these photos. We'll try and get as many interesting bits in there as possible. Borough Market is quite interesting, lots of interesting people and interesting stalls and stuff. Bit of smoke on this one, or steam, creating a bit of atmosphere. Quite like it. Get a bit of out of focus element at the front, which is a theme of a lot of these images, just to create a little bit more dimension to them. I actually messed this photo up because the moment there where they're handing to each other is much more interesting than the guy on his phone at the back. So that was just an error, really. It wasn't misshot. It wasn't an accident, but it just was misshot. It would have been better to have that in focus. Again, that one, I like that one with the steam. And similar with this one, I like the interaction, sort of him passing somebody something. Again, with this one, he's working, a bit of steam, nice framing, out of focus elements at the front. Again, same with this one, a little bit interaction between the person serving and the person buying. Quite a cool photo. I like the colours in there as well. Similar to this one, I like the colours with this guy who is obviously serving. Looks quite happy doing his job. If you hadn't spied the guy with the hat and the long jacket, well, there you go. So I did error actually. I did the before and afters, but what I forgot to do is take off on the afters the masking. So if some of the masking is still on there, so it's not a true before and after, because obviously I do quite a lot of the masking, but you get the idea more on the color grading than anything. Not sure she should be on her phone working, but quite a cool photo, and it's quite interesting that she is on her phone. Kind of sums up 2023, everyone on their phone. And quite like this, again, people just nicely framed, bit of out focus element at the front. Probably mum and daughter doing their shopping. I think that's kind of the beauty of street photography. There is an element of your own interpretation into it. So it's quite nice, the mum and the daughter so close together. Again, similar photo there. People doing their shopping. It's a good example of not being on your phone because you can miss shots. Luckily, I have good peripheral vision, so I did catch it. I like this scene. It took me a while to kind of get the shot I wanted. Sometimes you need to wait it out. Obviously, I didn't wait it out for very long. I got it there, but it was about waiting for the moment just to open up a little bit instead of it being a bit flat. There's a little bit more with that, the guy in the background showing up to create a bit more dynamic to the photo. Again, similar theme with this photo. You've got people serving, people buying, which I think is quite nice because you've got lots of different cultures and lots of different sort of, you got tourists and locals. Everyone sort of passes through Borough Market. So it's a very interesting place to sort of come and visit. So if you are in London, I definitely recommend it. It's right by London Bridge. You can't miss it. It's literally on the footstep of London Bridge. Again, I quite like this. The guy's hand just over the little, you know, what would you call that? Glass or probably plastic barrier. That's quite cool. I like this one. Guy wearing a Peaky Blinder hat. Nice bit of depth in front, or a nice bit of alpha focus element in the front, creating that nice little bokeh at the foreground and the background. Sort of giving a bit of depth to the photo. I quite like this one, not really my normal standard sort of photo, but I like it because it's sort of, you get a bit more scale involved. You can see sort of how big Borough Market is. So I'm just going a little bit off piste here, very, very slightly. So you can really see what I was pointing out. I did this one on the hop. Just two guys having a beer. Maybe father and son again. Again, it's all part of your own interpretation. Quite like this photo. You can see the sort of cheese. This is a cheese place, I think. And I'm using that as to frame the image. Again, we're back to maybe father, son. That's quite nice. Lots of out of focus elements at the back. Creates nice light on the bokeh, on the light. And this moment is a very brief one. Just catch it now. And I quite like it again, the guy. I like the chalkboard behind him. That's quite cool to me. It's a bit rustic. Can't really see what I'm shooting here, but as you can see, again, you've got nicely framed elements, out of focus element at the front, out of focus element at the back, creating nice depth. Guy with a hat, always worth taking a snap. Not the greatest location, but a nice bit of light coming in from the right. Again, I've masked that a little bit to emphasize it, which is what I'll kind of tend to do with masking, but I left the mask on the before photo, so it's not quite perfect before and after. Again, I like this. I'm using the gentleman's barber sign here just to create a little bit of out of focus element at the front, a bit more of a frame, just to draw you in towards the subject who's in focus. A couple of photos quite similar here, but these two girls, I think the one on the left is a girl if I remember rightly, and they're just sort of taking photos, so I'm just waiting for the moment until they get up, and I quite like that, the phone just poking between the two of them, and you can see they're taking a photo. Like I said, it's a big tourist hotspot, and again you've got nice couple. Oh, is that a couple? Is it mum and son maybe? Hard to tell, but again, it's nice seeing the interaction between people. I love that photo, the happy smile and the selfie. I think that's quite cool. But again, street photography is all about taking your own interpretation, you're making your own stories, and then seeing how people sort of interpret them. Again, we're back to this guy. Borough Market isn't that big, but I span past this guy again, and well, that's quite cool. But the thing is, you spin round and you see things slightly different. So this guy definitely wasn't here the first time. I quite like he's got his glasses in his mouth, gloves in his hand, maybe sending a text or whatever. Nice little fish stand, this one. Again, you've got the people interacting with the vendor. I quite like that one. None of these photos are absolutely amazing, but they're all part of, I guess, the overriding story. So I got this angle, I didn't quite like it, so I just moved round to the side a bit more. Sometimes it is worth just moving. I preferred that one, got a little bit of his legs in. Thought the framing was nicer. There wasn't too much in it, but it's always worth moving around your subject to make sure you're sort of maximising as much as you can, the angles and all that stuff. Again, got a nice little bit of alpha focus element on the right and the left, drawing you towards the subject and a bit of a leading line along those vegetables to the subjects. Quite like this, quite a rare opportunity that it all opened up, and just with the colours, I thought it was quite a cool photo. I like that one. So we're near the end, guys. Quite like this little camo cap, a bit interesting. I quite like the patterns on the guy's jacket. So I think it was cap on, so it's a bit mysterious. I thought it was quite cool. Nice out of focus elements at the back as well. And similar story here. Quite like the blue light on this one. And that is just about it, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, hit that like button. Make sure you're subscribed. Follow me on all social media at NJFlix. But most importantly, make sure you hit me up in the comments if you've got any questions, because I will answer all of them. Until the next one, peace.